Yo, welcome everyone once again to the We Are Gamers series. My name is your host, Champ Tone, aka Psychosis, a gamer with a passion for Jesus and gaming. And it is once again a true pleasure to grace your space this day. Today we have the honor and privilege of another gamer, another streamer as well. She streams under twitch.tv/ Moogli Games. If you get a chance, go to the channel, give it a follow. And let me introduce Moogli. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on.
Awesome, awesome. So let's just jump right to it. So what is actually your first name and what is the online gamer names that you primarily use when you game?
Okay, so my first name is Taylor. Right now I'm pretty much all my names are Moogli or sometimes Saber because I'm a huge Fate Zero nerd. I don't know
Nice.
if you're into anime, but yeah,
Saber. Nice. I like
something
that.
like that. Um, there was a process before I got to Moogli. I used to go by Moite, which was like kind of a variation of my first and middle name. Um,
Mm.
but I played League of Legends, and
Oh.
when I first started, every time I joined a lobby, um, or like I was in a champ select, people would say, "Ooh, a girl, a girl," and it made me nervous.
Really?
So I changed it to something that sounded kind of like a gender neutral, which is how I came across or how I
So
ended up with Moogli.
that's interesting. So how could they get that from the name?
I think
Because
the
it
like Tay is kind of girlier. I don't know. Honestly, to
is
me
it?
it sounded I don't know, to me it sounded gender neutral,
Yeah, because to
but
me,
I
I would have never guessed. Oh, it's a female. Let alone start acting like
right.
wow. So
But
it was really that crazy that you were getting that much feedback from the name at the start of the game.
yeah. Yeah, it got to the point where it was almost every single champ select. And
Really,
I was like, I just want to be anonymous and play the game. So I changed it to something don't get comments anymore, so that's chill.
that's
I
what. So
yeah.
what would happen? Like, give us an example. Because I mean, would they just
Um
call you out and then like throw your lane, or because I know that happens?
it there was a range. So most basic would be like, "Ooh, there's a girl," to "Oh my gosh, you suck. Get off league.
Oh my
I'm
god.
not ganking your lane," or something like that. So
Wow, just because of the name? Because it might
yeah,
be a female name?
yeah, and
Holy.
I feel like that's that. Well, so that was back in 2017. I feel like now it's
Mhm,
totally not bad because there are like I don't know. I get female sounding names
mhm.
on my team all the time, and like feel like a lot more they've been like targeting or like advertising league to be more like female friendly, I
Mhm.
think. So it's not like
Interesting.
super bad now, but
Mm.
in 2017 it was definitely kind of annoying.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that community I have had firsthand experience with such toxicity. So what special meaning does that name specifically have for you outside before you started changing it to Saber? Like, why would you choose that one? And
um
I mean, you kind of alluded to the anime for Saber and stuff like that. But yeah, is there any deeper meaning or any other reason?
for Moite, for Moogli, or for Saber, or
All of them. Yeah.
all of them. um Saber was just that I would use Saber for my Smurf accounts or just like alternate accounts.
Nice.
I'm not like super creative with the names, so it's usually just like some variation of my name. So
Mm.
my actual name is Morgan Taylor, but I go by Taylor.
Oh, okay.
So growing up, friends would call me like Moe or Moogly. So
Mm.
just like variations of my
Yeah.
names essentially. Nothing super like deep or creative or anything. Just like literally instead of writing my first name because like
Right,
Taylor
right,
would be
right.
taken or something. So yeah.
All right, all right. That's interesting. All right, so this next question is a little more tricky because it's about your age. So if you don't feel
Mhm.
comfortable giving your exact age, you can give the age range if that's okay. And when did you actually start video gaming?
I'm 28 now. I started gaming, oh gosh, as a child. I don't even know how old, pretty much as long as I could remember, because my dad would game. So I would play with him.
Nice. Do you?
Um,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say my older cousins would game too, and I have a distinct memory of um two of them playing on PlayStation, and I said I wanted to play. I was probably about 5 or 6 years old.
Mm.
One of my cousins plugged in the controller under, like, that trick where you would plug it under the
Yeah, yeah.
console to make it like look like you were playing, but it was only two players. And I was like,
Yes.
I'm too smart for this, dude. I may be six, but I know
That's
I'm not
funny.
playing.
That's hilarious.
So yeah,
That's
just
actually really
I
funny. I know exactly what you
don't know.
mean.
Yeah. I feel like my cousins always did that to me because I'm like a lot younger than they are. There's a huge age
Mm.
gap.
But they wanted you to feel like you were a part of it without you being a part of it because they probably didn't want you to mess up what they were trying
Exactly.
to do. Oh,
They
that's
didn't want me to
funny.
mess up the game.
That is so funny. That is so funny. So what was it really about video games that would like that drew you to want to actually play them? Even so you're in the scenario where you know you're not playing. And it's like what, what why did you actually want to play?
I think it was a combination of community in terms of spending time with my family,
Mm.
um,
Mhm.
and all just, quality time. And also, I'm a competitive person. So I think the instant satisfaction of, okay, you're, I mean, I wouldn't know this as a child, but I think more so now, like
Mm.
like the satisfaction of getting the mechanics right and then getting the
Mm.
feedback of, oh, you won or you completed this task.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Where do you remember the first system that you actually started playing on by chance?
Oh, let's see. I'm not sure if it was PlayStation or the Game Boy that was thick and gray, and it had that.
Game Boy. Wow.
You could even put that like the magnification tool on it to look at the
Yes.
screen better.
It had a light
So
on it. Yes.
yes, exactly. So one of those, I'm not sure which, and then at some point my dad bought man, I feel like we had older ones, but I just don't know what they are. He definitely had an Atari that I played on sometimes, but I think I was
Nice.
like,
Did
that's
you
old. Like,
did
I'm
you
too cool
actually
for
play
that.
it though?
I did at
Okay.
times.
It wasn't just plugged in and you thought you
No,
were
no, no, no. That was when I would play by myself at home, and then I have a younger sister, so then we would kind of
nice.
tag team together. It was us two instead of the older cousins.
That's funny. I mean, see, I'm guilty of that because I have kids. I have four kids and
Oh wow!
yeah, I'm pretty old. Yeah, I'm an old guy. But
No,
I
not that you're old, just that four kids.
so sometimes that's what we would have to do because if we're playing a two-player game and we want them to feel like they're involved, and you see the look on their face, they look like they're having a good time. But I wonder, see, I'm gonna ask my kids. I want to be like, did you ever know that you weren't playing? Did you ever realize that? Because it's not something I've ever thought of. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Because
like at what age will they realize, wait a second, I'm not playing this?
right, because I remember doing that when I was a teenager with my cousins. Because right, you didn't want them to screw up your game, but your aunts and uncles are like, "Yo, they need to play too." So you're like, "All right, sure, we'll let them play." So you give them a pad, but you don't plug it in, and they're like, their face is glowing, they're smiling, thinking they're playing. That's funny. That's
Man.
really funny. All right, so how was your family's actual reaction when you started gaming? Because I know
Mhm.
you didn't say your sister was playing as well with you, and you did play with your cousins. But when your family started seeing you actively get into it, how was their reaction really?
Yeah, I think as a child, there
Hmm.
wasn't anything negative about it because it was mostly my dad would be playing after
Mm.
work or something, and then he'd
Hmm.
ask if I
Hmm.
wanted to play with him. So it was more, I think he kind of got excitement showing me the ropes since it was our quality time together.
Nice.
And I didn't spend too much time gaming. I was always a pretty good student, so I would
Okay.
get everything done first, and then if I
Mm.
had free time, game. But I would also, read, play
Hmm.
outside, do other things. So it
Yeah.
wasn't like a constant. Um, it wasn't where I was constantly gaming. Now, I did take a huge break in
Hmm.
high school because I
Okay.
kind of put the stereotype on myself that gaming is lame. I should be doing more productive things, which is
Really?
funny because my dad gamed with me when I was a child,
That's what
and
I.
I didn't
Yeah.
think he was lame. So I think that was just a stereotype that I put on myself. And then after
Interesting.
college, I started gaming again. And then that's
Mm.
when I definitely got like more, I wouldn't say like negative reactions from my parents, but it was more
Mm.
like, oh, you're a nerd. You're just like playing video games all the time.
Mm.
But now
Really?
that I
Mm.
stream, yeah, they're
Yeah.
kind of used to it. They're like, okay, it's your hobby as long as you're happy and
That's
everything.
interesting. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
it's kind of like a cycle of
Yeah.
emotions.
So so you mentioned in high school, and so what was it that kind of triggered that whole, oh no, I'm a gamer, I need to stop? Like, did what was it? Just like your peers, they weren't into really gaming, or you just felt, just the pressure from around you? I mean, because that's interesting. Because you seem like you're really into gaming. I've seen some of your vids from your stream and everything, and just hearing that, I'm genuinely curious.
That's a good question. I'm not really sure if it's just as, as a teenager, like,
Mm,
I don't know, when you're 13, 14 and you start going through like a discovery phase of yourself and everything. So I think I
mm,
was trying to make changes. Like, um, I was always kind of a tomboy growing up, and then in high school, I was like, no, I want to be girlier, to like appear.
interesting.
I think
Yeah.
like maybe I had more of a focus on like boys or something. So like maybe I tried to like fit into a peg.
I mean,
Um,
oh, okay. Yeah.
and
Well,
then
that's
after,
definitely one reason.
yeah, so I mean, I'm not really sure, but then I think
Interesting. Yeah.
also another thing was I was really focused on school and trying to get into a good college and everything. So then that's
Mm,
kind of why
hmm.
I took a break until after I graduated from college. And then I thought, okay,
Yeah.
my goal is complete. I want to
Nice.
start gaming again.
And
And
it's like,
then
you
there
know
was,
what? Go ahead.
sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, no, go ahead. Go ahead. I think I'm cutting you off. I'm sorry.
No,
Go ahead.
no, it's fine. I think too, I did have a lot of friends who would spend too much time gaming, and
Mm,
I would see the negative effects it had on their schoolwork or their relationships. So I think I just kind of wanted to avoid that.
interesting. Interesting. Because there are, yes, there is. If there's too much, especially with school, right? Because you need to find the balance of
Yeah.
work life, and you can't just do only one thing and expect everything else to fall in line. You need to balance school with gaming, with relationships and stuff like that. That's interesting though, because especially at such a young age, you were sort of seeing it. And yeah, that's actually very, very interesting. All right, let's go to this next question. So just give us a background about your actual heritage and cultural background, if you don't mind.
I'm half Mexican and half Lebanese. I
Oh
grew
wow.
up in the US. I was born here.
Mm.
Um, my I'm trying to think. Is there anything in particular that you wanted me to share about my background?
I mean, share what you want to share. If
Yeah.
if you don't want to get too into it, don't feel pressured. But yeah, if you want, talk about just where you're from. I mean,
Yeah.
you say you're from, so you're American, basically, because you're
Yeah.
born
Mhm.
American, but your culture. But yeah, get into it. Go ahead.
I mean, I have a ton of family members, a ton of cousins. So I
Mm,
think that was it too. Every time we're all really close. So every time we would visit, we'd play, it would be mostly like Mario games and just kind of switch off.
nice.
So that was kind of that was always something to look forward to. The parents didn't really have to worry about the kids because we would just be in the other room, uh,
Right.
taking turns. We didn't really fight either. It was more
Mm,
like just spending time with each other. So yeah, it was always just fun growing up with a ton of cousins.
interesting. I know how that is. So which side had the larger family, the Mexican side or the Lebanese side?
Um, Shoot, that's hard.
Wow, it's that big on both sides.
Yeah. I
Wow.
don't know. I think the Mexican side, but
Oh yeah,
so
that's
for
interesting.
example, my dad has 8 brothers and sisters,
Wow.
and my mom has 4 brothers and sisters. So
Okay.
like the immediate family, my dad's side is bigger, but I don't know. I mean,
Who did you so when you had these gaming times, who was it? Which side was it more, or was it just everyone was just hanging out and it was?
I would say my mom's side
Mm,
because I
mm,
think most of the family lives in the same region of California where I grew
okay.
up.
Yeah,
So it would be mostly my mom's side of the family.
that's
Um,
interesting. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it really. Um,
No,
I
because
don't know. That was our bonding experience for
no,
sure.
I totally get that because I mean my culture. I'm Puerto Rican, so just so you
Oh,
know,
okay.
and yeah, we would have the big get-togethers. You know what I mean? Because my
Mhm.
mom comes from a family of 7 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
So yeah, everyone has kids. So tons of cousins. I was actually the oldest cousin. So I was
Oh,
the
really?
yeah. So I was the one who would kind of set the tone and designate who's going to play. Of course, I was always playing.
You
So
were
it would
always playing. You
right
got to pick who was plugged in and who was
exactly.
plugged under the console.
Exactly. That's why I could relate to what you're saying so much cuz right. That's exactly what I used to do to make sure that everyone got a turn, quote unquote turn, and everyone stood in line and we all kept in the room so that we wouldn't bother the adults as they were just doing whatever, and all they were doing was talking and watching TV and eating anyway.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
That's
funny. I'm
yeah.
imagining that. I'm just like I can imagine all those times in my head. The kids are in the room
Yep.
playing, and then, like you said, the adults are just hanging out.
Right. And then every now and then one would come in, oh, it's time to
Yeah.
go. They didn't want to go, they would start crying. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. So, has there really been any positive or negative impact your specific culture has had on your own gaming experience?
Let me see. I don't know if this is culture related, but I
Mm,
think as I got older, there was more of a slightly negative stereotype like, oh, you're gaming, you should be doing something else to, advance your life.
from your
Um,
family.
yeah, and I
Mm.
don't think it was anything that it was more like you're such a nerd. You're playing video games
Oh my
and
goodness.
you're in your 20s or something. It wasn't really there wasn't anything super negative.
Mm, mm.
Yeah, I
But
think it was just kind of like you're
it's spoken in
kind of
such a
old for this.
negative, right? It's like a
Yeah,
negative connotation. Like,
exactly.
what are you doing with? Please, I tell people because I'm 43 years old, and even though I can't game as much now just because of some injuries that I have with my eyes, but you know, they know I still game, and they used to give me a hard time about it for years. So don't feel bad. I know, I know how that is, but also I know for from my family, they really didn't see it as anything productive. If you didn't do something productive, it was a waste. You
There
know,
you go. Yeah, I think that's
right?
kind of what That's a really good way to put it. It's not really productive, you know? For example, I guess like
Mhm.
reading can be a fun hobby too that's like not necessarily productive, but that just seems more studious because
Right.
you're learning if you're reading. But I mean, there's still just passive hobbies, you know?
Right. No, and it's interesting because the argument was that it wasn't productive, and it's like, what do you mean it's not productive? The hand-eye coordination, the brain stimulation. Are you kidding me? But they'll watch a sport for 4 hours straight, and it's okay. And
Oh gosh.
you know exactly what I'm
I
talking
know
about.
exactly what you're talking about. Same with when I got into esports, like watching esports. It's
Mm,
like you're watching other people play video games. My response
like
is you're watching other
yes,
people play football? Like it's the
right,
same thing, but
right,
it's
right,
just not
exactly.
openly as accepted yet, I think.
Right. And yeah, it's interesting because I've had that discussion with family members because there are some people who I bust their chops about it because I'm like, yeah, did you see those guys? They're making millions of dollars playing so and so game. They look at me like you're lying. I'm like, I'm serious. These people are making a lot of money. This has become an actual profession, which, yeah, like you said, it's not. It's bigger than it was, but it's
Definitely.
definitely it's not on the level of actual professional physical sports. That that
Yeah.
that I do know, and that hopefully that changes with some things, and because I watch League of Legends, the pro scene, and
Really,
just
me too. I don't
yeah,
follow it religiously, but I mean, I always watch the finals.
right. I don't, yeah,
Sometimes I watch all of them, but or
nice.
like
I
most of
mean,
them.
I know some of the players. I like
Yeah,
seeing what they pick. I'm not the type to watch it and then go into a game and copycat what's going on because I think that's like, yeah, that's like the worst thing you could do. But me personally, but yeah, it's entertaining. And it's funny. I actually watch it in the South American Spanish channels, the LBL, because they'll translate some of the like MSI and stuff like that. I either watch it in
yeah.
Spanish or in Korean just because the casting is like next level crazy
It's
for whatever
exciting.
reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
They have
watching a
some
soccer match. It's crazy.
I know it really is. It's That's funny. I was gonna say it's like the same amount of hype as professional soccer.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I love the casters from I think every region. They're just so excited about the games. That's another thing too.
Mm.
I haven't done this with my group of friends as we've gotten older and kind of like
Hmm. Hmm.
dispersed, but we used to watch the league finals together every
Nice.
year, just kind of have a watch party and
Yeah.
cheer on our teams and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So that was like a good sense of community as
That's
well.
always that's always fun. I know sometimes we'll see me and my friends will try to do it, but we end up playing a game together. So
That's funny, yeah.
so yeah. So we'll play even though I've been kind of stuck on D4, Diablo 4 just cuz
Yes.
that's
Oh,
it has so I know we haven't known each other long. So I have vision loss. So I can't
oh,
see
okay.
well. Diablo 4 has accessibility options where it reads everything. So if I hover over an interactable item, it'll say interact. So that's how I'm able
That's
to find, yeah.
awesome.
So and it even reads all the stats of the items so I know what they are because I can't see them at all on the screen like
Mm.
to that level of detail. So for me, it's been great.
That's awesome because I haven't necessarily needed to use anything like that, but I
Mm,
know there's a big issue and I haven't been aware of like how well developers include accessibility
mhm.
options. So, I mean,
Yeah, it's not really and
that's kind of cool to know.
yeah, and I can understand that because we are, I mean, someone who's visually impaired. You would think, why are they trying to play video games? But at the same time, it's like, because I like playing video games and they're a lot of fun. M- a lot of my community and friends, that's how we interact. You know what I mean? I don't want to really lose that because that's
Exactly.
that's great. You know what I mean? Here, so let's move on to this next question. So so you still play video games now. Why do you choose to still play video games now? You alluded to it earlier, but give us, give us really why you still play video games.
Yeah. Um, First, it's just fun. It's entertainment to me.
Absolutely.
Back to the also the satisfaction of just sometimes um just like wanting to get the mechanics right and everything.
Mm,
Super satisfying. And then also I have a lot of friends who live in different places, and this is how we spend our time together, because sometimes they're like a 3 hour drive away or all the way across the country or something. So this is the
yeah,
time when
yeah.
we can all get together and actually hang out. And the best part is when you're tired, you don't have to, you could kind of like either Irish goodbye it or just like, okay, guys, logging off. Like, you don't have to make a big ordeal about like,
Yeah.
hi, guys, it was nice seeing you. Like, you could just, I'm out.
It's like, yo, I'm done. Peace.
Yeah.
Right, right,
that's,
right.
that's like the me getting older part, but that's that's fun too, I guess.
That's funny. No, it's true. It's like when you're with people, you say goodbye, and I don't know about you, but I know for me, saying goodbye usually is another hour
Yeah,
in
exactly.
into the event. You know what I mean? Because you got to say bye to everyone, but then you want to keep talking. Someone wants to keep talking, then you say bye again, another hug, another kiss on the cheek. Then you say bye. Oh, you forgot to say bye to this. Yeah, my wife hates it. She's like,
That's exactly like my family.
so so I get
That's
why that would
amazing.
actually be a positive point, to be honest. All right, so what you've been playing games for a while. So what is your number one favorite video game of all time?
Oh gosh. Okay. Um, so I like all of the Tomb Raider games, and I also like this game called Pandemonium. I don't
Oh,
remember if it was on PlayStation 1 or 2, but I
yes.
actually did a throwback stream one time where I was playing it on stream.
Mm.
It's pretty laggy and it would like
Oh,
glitch
is
out.
it?
So
That's funny.
I don't really stream older games anymore.
What did you
But
do? An emulator?
no, I ended up buying it on Steam pretty
Oh,
cheap, but
wow.
it was
Oh, okay.
super glitchy.
Oh, really? That's unfortunate.
Yeah, so I
That
would play that
sucks.
all the time with my sister, and we would switch off playing.
Mm.
We had the code, so it was like after you pass a level, you would write down the code and then
Right, right. Yeah.
just start off right there.
Uh,
So we beat the game multiple times, so we would just go back and play the levels that we liked after a while. Oh,
nice.
there is one Mario game on Game Boy that I loved. For the life of me, I can't think of which one it is, but I would play it every time we had a road trip.
Nice. There's so many. I mean,
There's so many. Yeah.
for the original
I
Game Boy.
yeah,
Mm. Was it the first one?
You know what? I have it somewhere. I'm going to have to message you after our conversation and be
That's
like,
funny.
this is it," but
That's
I
hilarious. So
can't
you
remember
still
for the life
you
of me.
do you still have the physical cartridge?
I do.
Oh, that's so good. Those are like the relics of gaming.
Yeah.
I love hearing about that. I mean, I follow streamers too who are retro gaming streamers, and they collect a lot of old equipment. There was one, she was actually on our show a few weeks back. She actually repairs, she's actually on her stream repaired old systems that were dysfunctional to working order, which was amazing. She would open them up,
Oh, wow.
clean them. Yeah, it was so cool. She would open them up, clean them out, and see what if there was a connector missing or something like that, and then just put everything back together. Try it. She did the same thing with the cartridges too. It was so wild. She
That
was
is so cool. I didn't even know
yeah,
you could fix them.
yeah. I know it's wild. Some of them you can't, which is weird, depending on when the system was built. Because she knows the history. It's just I love watching it just because there's so much information there, and the fact that she can actually get them working is like the best part. She's not just
Yeah.
blowing into the cartridge and it's working. You know what I mean?
That's me. That's the most I could do. Just blow it. It's not working. All right. Well, whatever. That's
Right?
cool. She's a streamer.
Yes, yes. Her
Oh,
I'll give you her name.
yeah.
Yeah, and you could check her out. Yeah, she streams. She's active. She streams during the week. She's great to watch. So let's go to this next question. What's your one gaming memory? You've already mentioned several so far, but what's that one gaming memory that you will absolutely never forget?
Oh, see. I think. I mean, my top would be the one that I shared at the top of the show with playing with my cousins.
Mm.
Um,
Oh, when they would pretend to plug you in?
yeah. I think.
Oh, I mean, because you knew it. What you knew it wasn't plugged in, so you were like,
No, I know.
"That's." Did you like tell them? Did like so? All right. So when did you come? Did you ever confront them about it and say, "Hey, can you actually plug me in?" Or
Um,
no?
so
You were
as a
just
kid,
like,
I was really shy, and I thought
"Okay,
my cousins were super cool, so I didn't say anything. And then when I got older, as an adult, I'm like, "Hey, I remember that time you plugged in the controller
that's
underneath,"
so
and
funny."
they're like, "Oh yeah," like I don't know, I don't even know if they remembered, but
Yes, they do.
just kind of yeah, I brought it up as an adult, like I knew
That's
you did that.
that's funny that you
Yeah,
confronted them with the truth. You're like,
yeah,
why did you do that to me? Why? No one's talked to me about it yet, which is funny. No one has
that's
said
good.
anything. But I mean, if they did, I would be like, yeah, we had to fake the funk, it was how it is. There was a hierarchy. You either, the older kids got to play more than the younger kids. That's just how it was, unfortunately.
That's how life works when you're the younger.
Exactly.
Um,
Especially in a scenario like that. That's so funny.
yeah. I think another memory too.
Mhm.
I have a lot of memories of playing with my sister computer games back in the day. So it would
Nice.
just be like us playing together and like
Mm,
getting
mhm.
excited, and there was never any uh competition between us. It was
Okay.
just us laughing and having a good time, and um me being able to like bond with my younger sister. We're 4 years apart. So I
Nice.
think it's just like wholesome memories of being a
Mhm.
child.
Oh no, absolutely. That's one thing. If you hear a lot of the older episodes as well, that's been I believe that's one of the reoccurring thoughts that people just have such a good time playing with other people. As sitting, especially when it was someone next to you. you know
Yeah.
Seeing, even just watching them play, it was so cool. Then you would have your turn and they would watch you play, and that bond that was built through gaming. You know what I mean? And some people thought it was such a waste of time, but at the same time they wanted you to do it, especially if they wanted you to get out of their hair. You know what I mean? Especially with family. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we want to talk about this. And it was so weird too, because then you would like walk in the kitchen, and at first nobody would say anything. Then they would be like, "Hey, why don't you're not playing with these people? You know what's going on and stuff like that." And it's like, oh, sometimes I wanted to hear the crazy conversations that the adults were having. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, this was such a good session. We're actually down to our last question, and this is actually more of a technical question. So, how do you feel the evolution of technology has really impacted your gaming experience? Has it been negative? Has it been positive? But as you've been gaming and seeing things change, how has that really impacted your own gaming experience? I know this
Overall,
one.
it's the yeah, it's a tough one. It's a lot to sum up, but overall, I think it's since the world is kind of I don't know, it almost expands your reach of being able
Mm,
to
mhm,
play
mhm.
with people all over the world or cross platform even. Um, it definitely hurts my wallet more because I'm buying accessories, new games,
Yep.
some games on my
Indeed.
Switch, on my on my PC. But I think it just, yeah, I think it just makes the world feel a little smaller because
Mm,
you can. There's so many. Like, I never thought as a kid, oh, you can stream games and people can watch you, or
yeah, right?
anything like that. But now it's such a, like, a natural part of my life.
Yeah.
Like, gaming isn't my whole life, but definitely like a little special part of my life. So
Mm,
I don't know.
hmm
I think
hmm
I think it's just cool too. I was born in '94. I think just to see the evolution
Yeah.
of where gaming has gone has been kind of mind blowing if you like take a step back and think about it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Oh
Man,
man.
I
Yeah.
could go on forever, but this was great. Thanks for the thought provoking questions.
Yeah.
I
Well,
could talk
Moogli,
about this stuff all the time.
I mean, it's it's who we are. We're gamers. I mean, how many times can you actually just sit and have a conversation about gaming with, and it's interesting cuz I remember somebody brought it up one time how like if you're talking about a game with someone who games and plays that game will hear it, and all of a sudden yes, this happens at work especially, cuz you're always around the same people, and they'll hear you talking about playing a game, and they'll be like, "Wait, you play what?" You Because like you'll say a name, or you'll mention a catchphrase that's in that game, or something that
Yes.
only they will understand. Like, and they're like, "Oh," they're like, "Wait, hold up," because I had a coworker. She was talking about something from Overwatch, and I was like, "Hold on a second, you play Overwatch?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "No, you don't. You got to be kidding me." And me and her have become, good coworkers, good friends since this is for years, which is so funny. So we'll have even, and not a lot of people where I used to work actually play video games. So of course you have those in jokes where you say stuff that's in the game. We're both cracking up. Everyone's looking at us like we're weirdos. They're like, "Oh yeah, they play video games." Like, excuse me, what do you mean they play video games?
That's great. Yeah, we could always find each other at the office. That's for sure. All the
Yes.
gamers kind of found each other, and if somebody brings something up, oh my gosh, the conversation will go on.
Yeah, that's so funny. All right. Well, we're actually at our time. This was Mowgli. Thank you. I want to say thank you so much for being a part of the show. This was a genuine pleasure. It always is. I love hearing about meeting people, the real person behind the gamer tag. You never really meet them. You know what I mean? You don't know about them outside of just their gaming life. I mean, I've had a few personal friends, but outside of that, a lot of the people you meet online, you really don't know who they are. And that's the whole point of the series, to get to know the people, because we're real people. We are
Oh, absolutely.
we're real people who, we grew up, we have our family memories, and gaming's just a part of it. And for some it's a large part, for some not so crazy, but it is a part. And yeah, I feel like that's just something that is good to let people know, that we are gamers and we are people. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Moogly. So let me just wrap up the show. So everyone listening, thank you for tuning in. Remember, Moogly, it's Moogly Games, right?
Yes.
Twitch.tv/Moogly Games. Give her a follow if you can. Remember that you are awesome, Jesus loves you, and ganadora.